Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to have you here today. We're about to dive into a very important topic: how to know if you should marry them. This is the first slide, the cover slide, so I just want to briefly introduce what we'll be covering. We'll look at the brutal checklist most people ignore when it comes to making such a big decision. We'll explore why love, chemistry, and butterflies aren't enough, and how honesty can actually save your future. So, let's get started, and make sure you're fully prepared for this journey. Let's talk about something really important. Can you handle their worst day? Not just a good day or a charming day, but their absolute worst day. The day they shut down emotionally, lash out, blame you, act unfairly, withdraw, or even crumble under pressure. Because honestly, marriage doesn't erase their flaws, it often magnifies them. When you add in the stresses of mortgages, kids, exhaustion, aging parents, illness, you name it, that worst day can become a recurring guest in your life. If you can't live with their lowest, most vulnerable version, then you're not truly ready for what marriage entails. It's a deep emotional, legal, and spiritual commitment, and understanding this is key to making it work. Let's talk about responsibility and how some people handle their stories. When they talk about their exes, their family, past conflicts, or mistakes, pay close attention. If every story they tell makes them out to be the victim, the hero, or suggests that nothing was ever their fault, it's a red flag. Because guess what? That means the real villain in the next chapter is likely to be you. Blame shifting isn't just a bad habit, it's a pattern. And in a marriage, this pattern can become your emotional prison, trapping you in a cycle that's hard to break free from. If someone can't admit, "I was wrong," they're unlikely to meet you halfway or work through issues together. Ultimately, taking responsibility is key to healthy communication and growth. Without it, true partnership becomes nearly impossible. So, watch for these signs, because recognizing them is the first step toward building a relationship based on honesty and accountability. Can you discuss money without chaos, avoidance, or shame? Honestly, it's unromantic to talk about budgets and retirement plans, but what's even more unromantic? Fighting about money at 2 a.m., hiding credit card secrets, experiencing financial betrayal. Those are the real issues. And let's not forget the quiet storms, kids waking up to slammed doors or tense silence. That's what financial stress can cause. Money isn't just about numbers. It's about values, priorities, and emotional maturity, things that you can sometimes see in a spreadsheet, but are felt deeply. If you and your partner can't have calm, honest conversations about your spending habits, your savings, your debts, your future plans, and your financial boundaries, then what you have isn't true compatibility. Instead, it's just temporary chemistry hiding a potential long-term disaster. So, open communication on these topics isn't just nice to have. It's essential for building a stable, trusting relationship. Let's consider how people treat those who can't do anything for them. Watch how they behave around waiters, janitors, Uber drivers, their own parents, homeless individuals, or customer service employees. These moments reveal true character. You see, kindness that's shown only when it's convenient is easy. But real character shows itself when kindness is tested, when it's under pressure. That's when we see who people really are. If someone mocks, belittles, or shows contempt toward those who are vulnerable, it's a warning sign. Because eventually that same cruelty can turn toward you, especially when you're vulnerable. And let's be honest, in marriage, vulnerability is inevitable. So how you treat others in those moments reveals a lot about who you are and who you'll be when life gets tough. That's why it's so important to practice genuine kindness, not just when it's easy, but when it really counts. Have you had the brutal conversation about kids? Not just the simple question of do you want kids, that's the easy part. The real questions are much deeper and more challenging. How many kids do we want? What if we can't have children? What if one of us changes our mind down the line? Who stays home with the kids? How do we handle discipline? Do we go the public school route or choose private education? And perhaps most importantly, what values do we want to instill in them? Avoiding these conversations after the wedding doesn't make the issues go away. It just makes them fester. Over time, that can turn into resentment and years of silent frustration. Parenting requires us to be aligned, not just assumptions or hopes that we'll figure it out as we go. Now, shifting gears a bit, can you fight without the fights turning nuclear? Everyone fights, even healthy couples. But what really matters is how you fight. Because the way you fight shapes your entire life together. Some red flags might seem like just personality quirks, bringing up old wounds, giving the silent treatment, making threats to leave, screaming, scorekeeping, using humiliation or sarcasm, or making you feel small. If these behaviors show up while dating, they're only going to get worse in marriage. And with marriage, they come with heavier ammo, deeper access to vulnerabilities. Remember, you're not asking for perfection. You're asking for safety, an environment where disagreements don't turn into destruction. That's what keeps a relationship strong and healthy. Let's talk about respect, especially when things get tough. It's easy to be respectful on good days, but what really matters is whether respect holds up when you're facing frustration or conflict. Watch how your partner treats you when you disagree, when you have to say no, or when you disappoint them. Also, pay attention when you challenge them or hold a boundary. Those moments reveal a lot about respect in the relationship. Research shows that contempt is a strong predictor of divorce, more than cheating, attraction, or compatibility. If your partner rolls their eyes, dismisses your feelings, or treats you as inferior when stressed, that's a clear sign the relationship is already starting to rot. Respect isn't just about kindness on the surface. It's about how you're treated when emotions run high. Now I want you to consider how you show up around your partner. Are you a better version of yourself? Not just happier, but genuinely better, more patient, honest, grounded, inspired, disciplined, and confident. Because in marriage, you tend to become who you're with. Their habits can influence your habits, their anxieties can affect your thinking, and their emotional patterns can seep into your daily life. Love has the power to elevate us, to help us grow into better people. But it can also erode us if we're not careful. If you find yourself being meaner, weaker, more insecure, or less like yourself when you're around your partner, that's a warning sign. That's not love. That's slow self-destruction disguised as devotion. It's crucial to recognize these signs early and strive to be your best self, because a healthy relationship should bring out the best in both of you. So after a fight, the most important question isn't who wins or who is right, but who reaches out first. The biggest predictor of whether a relationship will last long-term isn't the absence of conflict, but rather whether the couple can repair after a disagreement. Healthy couples tend to reconnect quickly. They don't let hurt fester. They understand that repair is essential for stability. On the other hand, unhealthy couples often keep score. They hold on to resentment, which only deepens the divide. Relationships tend to die when neither partner is willing to step across that divide and make amends. If your partner needs to win, needs to prove a point, or refuses to soften until you're emotionally drained, that's a red flag. Because in those moments, you'll drown in their pride and the connection suffers. Remember, marriage is an ongoing process of repair. It's not a one-time fix, it's continuous. If your partner can't do that now, if they can't meet you halfway in the heat of a disagreement, they probably won't be able to later. Repair is the foundation that keeps love alive through all the ups and downs. Let's take a moment to really reflect on this question. Are you trying to convince yourself? This is often the most difficult thing we avoid facing. So, ask yourself, are you defending this person to everyone around you? Are you explaining away their red flags or dismissing your own intuition? Maybe you're hoping they'll change, or perhaps you're staying because you've already invested so much time and energy. The truth is, that isn't love. That's what I call sunk cost emotional economics, clinging to something because of what you've already put in, not because it's truly right for you. It's much better to feel a bit embarrassed now than to stay on a path that could destroy you later. Sometimes, walking away is the most courageous choice, especially if staying means co-parenting with someone who drains your soul. Remember, your gut already knows the truth. It's whispering to you, but often we're just looking for permission to trust it. The key is to listen and honor what you already feel deep inside. The real secret nobody tells you is that most people don't actually marry a partner, they marry potential. They marry a fantasy, a vision of who they hope their partner will become someday. But the truth is, your future is built with the person standing right in front of you now, tired, flawed, imperfect, hungry, stressed, human. Ask yourself, Could you be stuck in an airport for 12 hours with this person and still feel safe and connected? If the answer is no, then maybe it's a sign. Maybe you shouldn't be signing a lifetime contract right now. The final truth I want to leave you with is this: you only have one life, so choose wisely. You deserve someone who can pass this checklist easily, not perfectly, but easily. You deserve clarity, not confusion. You deserve reality, not just potential. And you deserve a future built on honesty, not hope alone. If this message makes you uncomfortable or sparks doubt, that's not failure. That's valuable information. And information is power. So I ask you, which question hit you the hardest? Reflect on that, because that's where your clarity begins.